Exposed, my wife's heartbreaking betrayal stole $50,000 and revealed a hidden child, inspiring my journey to forgiveness. Jake's hands were grease-stained, a testament to a life of toil, but his heart was full as he tossed the baseball with his son, Tommy. Each catch was a snapshot of their simple bliss, and each laugh echoed in the warm summer air like a gentle reminder of everything he was working for, a home of their own. Just $50,000, a modest goal compared to the dreams swirling in his head. Barbecues, birthday parties, laughter echoing through the halls, moments that cemented the ideal of a middle-class family. But the warmth faded when Jamie, his best friend and fellow veteran, dropped a bombshell one fateful afternoon. "Man, I overheard something about Monica." Jamie's voice was heavy with concern, dragging behind it years of camaraderie built over shared battles. Those words shook Jake to his very core. Jake rubbed the nape of his neck, confusion swirling with dread. Was this a joke? It couldn't be true. He took a deep breath and plunged into his investigation, piecing together whispers and fleeting glances. What he uncovered was a knife plunged straight into his heart. Monica had a child from a past relationship, the dirty secret she'd kept hidden, tucked away like a forgotten tool. Anger roared through him like a beast awakened, pain twisting in his gut like a raging storm. Confrontation was inevitable. "Why didn't you tell me?" he shouted, the words bursting free, carrying his anguish through their small house. Monica's eyes widened as if she were watching the pieces of their life unravel. The air crackled with tension as her voice trembled, unfurling tales of fear, shame, and decisions made long before him. The fabric of their family was fraying, and they both felt it. In the days that followed, as the chatter of their town underlined the turmoil, Jake sought solace among his veteran friends. Each shared story of sacrifice reminded him of loyalty, of honor. But there was a crushing weight too. The bills were piling up, and whispers of financial ruin threatened to drown him. He stood at a crossroads where his American values were crashing down around him. Did he chase down the truth that clawed at his insides, or did he cling to the threads of the family that had been woven with love? As he wrestled with emotions of betrayal and love, the community wrapped around him. Their voices swelled like a tide, calling for justice, but Jake knew deep down it wasn't just about right or wrong. It was about family. It was about what it meant to forgive and the love that sometimes bore scars. Then came the moment that turned everything upside down. He learned that the hidden child, lost within secret burdens, had been yearning for a family, for belonging. The anguish Jake felt morphed into empathy. He hesitated at the edge of realization, his heart squeezed tighter. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Jake found himself standing on a precipice, questions flooding his mind. What did it mean to build a family? Was it possible to embrace the truth that had shattered his world? Hearts thudded loudly in this storm, where hope flickered like a candle in the wind. As he thought of the little girl hiding in the shadows, torn from her rightful place, Jake's journey loomed ever larger, covered with the dust of broken dreams yet bursting with the possibility of redemption. With a heart heavy with choices, he wondered, could he find a way to forgive? Could they truly rebuild what had been shattered? The answers danced just beyond his reach, and as the echoes of his past intertwined with the cries for the future, he stood at this pivotal moment, questioning everything. Jake spent hours lost in thought, staring at the worn grass of the backyard where he and Tommy played. The sun dipped low on the horizon, casting long shadows that seemed to reflect the uncertainty looming overhead. He could hear Tommy's laughter spilling from the house, blissfully unaware of the turmoil brewing in his dad's heart. Jake clenched his fists, wrestling with the scars of betrayal that had become a part of him. The more he thought about the hidden child, a daughter he didn't even know existed, the heavier the weight upon his shoulders grew. It gnawed at him, pulling him into a labyrinth of emotions. What did that little girl need? A father. A family. But how could he just accept her? How could he embrace a child who had been hidden from him? His mind drifted back to Jamie's warning, the weight in his buddy's voice still echoing. You've got to know the truth, Jake. It's better that way. But the truth? It threatened to unravel everything he believed in. Still, he couldn't shake the aching realization that she, too, was a victim of Monica's secrets. Determined, he picked up his phone and dialed Jamie. I might need your help, Jake said, his voice unsteady. Can you meet me at the diner? Jamie showed up promptly, concern etched across his features. Over steaming cups of coffee, Jake shared everything: the betrayal, the hidden child, the swirling chaos of his life. Jamie listened intently, nodding, and finally leaning in closer. You're strong, man. I know you can handle this. What do you want? I want to protect Tommy, Jake said, choking back the emotion. But something's pulling me toward her. I feel like I can't just walk away from her. It's not her fault. A silence hung over them, thick with unspoken feelings. Jamie took a deep breath, finally breaking it. You've always wanted to be a dad. Maybe this is your chance to provide that for both kids, be the father they each need. Jake's heart raced at the thought. He could be a father to two children, both in need of love and support. The potential glittered like a beacon in the darkness he had been wrapped in. But it also darkened his mind. What if he couldn't do it? What if trying to open his heart only brought them all more pain? Memories of the good times emerged, the funny moments, the snuggles on the couch after a long day, the triumphs through life's little challenges. Those moments had defined what family felt like. Yet, the specter of betrayal loomed. How could he include a child born of deception in this mix? Jamie's voice pulled him back. You don't have to decide everything today, okay? Just take it step by step. First, find out if you can actually meet her. Learn her story. You owe that to yourself. Jake nodded, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. If being a father meant stepping into the unknown, then so be it. That night, as he lay in bed, his mind cycled through possibilities. What if he brought her into their lives? How would Tommy react? Would they all become one big family, or would it sever their already fragile bonds? He closed his eyes, envisioning a house filled with laughter, both children playing side by side. But he was held back by the reality that awaited him. Could he step past the betrayal and embrace a new beginning? For the first time, hope began to grow. He finally understood, to forgive wasn't to forget but to accept, to create a path forward even in the darkest times. And with that thought, an unexpected question lingered in his heart: would repairing this fractured family truly bring them closer together, or would his efforts only deepen the cracks? Jake felt the weight of his next steps. Tomorrow would be a new day, one that could change everything. Would he find the strength to face the past head-on? As dawn broke, the sun bathed the room in soft light, illuminating the shadows that still lingered in Jake's mind. He felt restless, his heart throbbing as he lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. Today was the day he would confront the truth. He took a deep breath, the air thick with a mix of anticipation and dread. Getting out of bed proved harder than it had in years. The weight of his decision pulled at him, but he had promised himself that he would explore this unexpected twist in his life. There was a little girl out there, and he had to know her. He glanced at Tommy, still lost in dreams. The boy's peaceful face reminded him why he needed to be strong. After a quick breakfast, Jake grabbed his jacket and stepped out into the crisp morning air. The diner was a familiar sight, the smell of coffee wafting through the door as he pushed it open. Jamie was already seated in their usual booth, fingers tapping nervously on the table. Hey, Jake said, sliding into the booth across from him. Did you sleep at all? Jamie asked, concern growing in his eyes. A little. Just trying to wrap my head around everything. Jamie leaned forward. Have you thought about what you want to say when you meet her? Jake hesitated, his stomach turning. No. I mean, how do I even begin to talk to her? What if she hates me on sight? What if she's as angry as I feel? You have to remember, she's just a kid. She doesn't carry the baggage you do. And she's been just as affected by all of this, Jamie reminded him gently. Jake nodded, feeling the lump in his throat. Deep down, he wanted to protect her, to make her feel safe. But could he really do that when he felt so wounded himself? The thought was daunting. Do you have her name yet? Jamie asked, trying to lighten the mood. Yeah. It's Mia. The name felt foreign and yet somehow familiar, as if it had always belonged to the space Jake hadn't known existed. Then let us find Mia. She deserves to meet her dad. And you need to meet her, Jamie said firmly. You're going to get through this. Jake took a deep breath, summoning every ounce of courage he could muster. He pulled out his phone and accessed the message from Monica, the one that had shattered his world. It contained a name, an address, and a small picture of a girl with dark hair and bright eyes, a reflection of someone who could have been part of his life all along. With trembling fingers, he typed out a message to the number associated with the address, his heart racing as he hit send. Hi, this is Jake. I'm reaching out about Mia. I'd like to meet. The silence stretched, enveloping him as he waited, each second feeling like an eternity. Anxiety clawed at his mind. What if she didn't want to meet? He fought back the fleeting thoughts of doubt, focusing instead on the family he hoped to build, a second chance that might emerge from the wreckage. Minutes ticked by, each one amplifying his uncertainty. Just as he began to lose hope, the screen lit up with a reply. Hi Jake, this is Michelle, Mia's mother. I can arrange a meeting if you're serious about this. His heart raced at the thought. This was happening. A new chapter was about to unfold, one that could either heal or fracture everything he held dear. Are you ready for this? Jamie asked quietly, squeezing his shoulder. Jake looked at his friend, then back at the message that felt both like an invitation and a challenge. I have to be, he replied, feeling the rush of determination swirling through him. But as he prepared to reply, another question lingered in his mind. Was there enough love in his heart to welcome a child he had never known, alongside the boy he loved dearly? As he stared at the screen, the moment lingered, heavy with possibility. Would everything change, or would he simply be opening the door to more pain? Jake took a breath, heart pounding against his ribs as he stared at the screen. The pulse of uncertainty made every word feel heavy, as if the weight of a lifetime hung in the balance. He could feel Jamie's gaze, a mix of encouragement and worry, and it pushed him to type a response. Yes, I'm serious. I'd like to meet Mia. Please let me know when and where. As he pressed send, he felt a swell of panic. Was he really doing this? The click of the button resonated like a gunshot in an empty field, echoing his determination but also his fear. You did it, Jamie said, a tentative smile gracing his lips. Yeah, Jake murmured, looking down at the floor, where the scuffed tiles seemed to be waving goodbye to his old life. Now what? Now we wait, Jamie replied, leaning back in the booth. But I know you. You need to talk about this. Jake's eyes roamed the diner. A waitress poured coffee into a mug at the counter, a young couple laughed in the corner, and an elderly man flicked through the newspaper. Life moved forward, while he stood suspended in time, ready to solve a puzzle he had just discovered. How can I talk about it? He said, his voice low. Everything feels so broken. I'm broken. Or you're just in pieces, Jamie countered. All you need is to figure out how to put them together. Start with what you feel. Jake sighed. I don't even know what I feel. I mean, it's so confusing. I'm excited to meet her, but am I ready to be a dad again? Why wouldn't you be? You're already a dad to Tommy, Jamie replied. Meeting Mia doesn't lessen that love. Sure, but what if I can't handle it? Jake's thoughts raced. What if I fail her? Or worse, what if she feels the weight of my past? Jamie leaned forward, sensing Jake's turmoil. Dude, you're not meant to be perfect. Nobody is. You just need to be honest with her. Kids get that. A sudden buzz interrupted Jake's thoughts, and his fingers shot to his phone. The screen flashed with another message from Michelle. How about this Friday after school? We can meet at the park. Jake's breath caught. The park, he could picture it, an open space filled with laughter, swings, and sunlight spilling over everything. How would he approach that first meeting? Okay, he replied, before looking up at Jamie, his stomach twisting. Friday, are you sure you're going to be okay? I'll manage, Jake responded, but uncertainty lingered in his voice. You don't have to put on a brave face for me. Jamie dropped his tone, urging sincerity. You're the one who gets to navigate this for yourself. Jake swallowed hard, the thought of Friday looming over him. A girl he didn't know, a daughter he hadn't been there for. And what if Mia hates me? He whispered, the fear spilling out. Then you try again, Jamie said, unwavering. You show up. That's what matters. Jake nodded, but in his mind, the questions multiplied. Could he really do this? Could he open his heart wide enough to embrace a child? As they left the diner, the weight of the world pressed down on him. Jake cast one last glance inside, a bittersweet farewell to the life he once led. The uncertainty ahead felt like a chasm, and yet, deep down, he sensed the flicker of hope. He took Jamie's arm for support, small comfort against the rising tide of his worries. What if she sees the fear in my eyes? Then you show her your courage, Jamie replied, squeezing his wrist. As they walked down the street, a thought flitted through Jake's mind. What if, despite everything, this was the start of a healing journey? Just as that sliver of hope ignited within him, his phone buzzed again. The sudden rush of adrenaline had him reaching for it immediately. As he glanced down, his heart dropped. It was a new message from Michelle. By the way, Mia doesn't know about you yet. But she deserves to hear the truth. Silence settled thickly around him, and an instinctive dread filled his chest. Would revealing this truth change everything for him and the little girl he was about to meet? Jake's heart raced as he stared at the screen, the weight of Michelle's words crashing down on him like a wave. She deserves to hear the truth. The weight of that statement twisted his stomach into knots. What did that mean for Mia? How could he walk into her life the way he was now, a stranger carrying so much baggage? What's wrong? Jamie asked, noticing the shift in Jake's expression. It's about Mia. She doesn't know about me yet, Jake said, his voice barely above a whisper. What if she hates me for it? How do I even start to explain? Jamie leaned in closer, his expression serious. You tell her the truth. Children can handle honesty, especially from someone who wants to be there for them. You're not just some ghost from her past. You're trying to be part of her life now. But what if she resents me? Jake's voice cracked as doubt seeped in. I mean, I wasn't there. I didn't even know she existed until recently. I'm just some guy trying to make amends. You can't change the past, Jake, Jamie said, a firm pat on his shoulder. But you can shape the future. Be real with her. Kids pick up on authenticity. Jake nodded slowly, but the fire of anxiety within him only fanned its flames. Could he really face a child's judgment, her confusion and hurt? What if, in trying to connect, he only drove a deeper wedge between them? They reached the park, the sun casting a glow over the green expanse where children ran freely, their laughter lifting into the air. Jake felt a pang of longing. The innocent joy he saw felt like a world away. What do you think she'll be like? He asked Jamie, needing something to distract him from the storm brewing in his mind. Honestly? Just be yourself. Kids have a way of surprising you. Maybe she loves dinosaurs, or painting, or maybe she's shy. Just listen to her and try to connect. As they approached a park bench, Jake could see butterflies flitting about, playing in the afternoon light, an image of carefree innocence that felt both beautiful and tormenting. The bench hinted at the conversations he desired to have, the knowledge he wished to share, yet felt distant in the reality of his anxiety. "When you meet her, be honest about your feelings," Jamie added. "Let her see the real you." "What if the real me isn't good enough?" Jake snapped, frustration edging into his voice. "Look at my life, it's a mess. I'm scared she'll run the other way." Jamie held his gaze, allowing silence to weave between them. "What if she doesn't? What if she needs you just as much as you need her? Healing isn't a straight line, man. Sometimes, it takes a detour." The thought of Mia as a detour made Jake's heart ache. He wanted to be the one to guide her, to give her stability. But could he offer that when he had been drifting for so long? With a deep breath, he pulled out his phone, staring at Michelle's text again. The words felt like a ticking clock, reminding him of the urgency to act, to meet Mia, to explain, to face the truth of their shared reality. "Jamie?" Jake said, his voice steadier. "What if all of this is a huge mistake?" "Then you learn from it," Jamie replied, his voice firm yet kind. "But you won't know unless you try." Taking another deep breath, Jake looked across the park. Children swung high into the air, laughter ringing out like music, and for a moment, he wished he could slip into that simplicity. But he couldn't. He had to face the truth. "Okay," he replied, determination swelling. "I'll meet her. Just I need to figure out how to tell her everything." Jamie smiled, a flicker of pride shining in his eyes. "That's the spirit. You've got this." But as they sat on the bench, Jake couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of a much larger struggle. The fear of facing Mia loomed larger than before, and he knew one thing for certain: this truth could either heal them or shatter any chance of a future together. He glanced at Jamie, uneasy. "What if she looks at me and sees everything I've got wrong? What if all she sees is disappointment?" Jamie's response was lost, drowned out by the laughter of children playing nearby. As they sat quietly, a sense of impending change hovered in the air, a prelude to the moment that would alter everything. A fool's hope began to spark within Jake. Could he really navigate this new chapter? And just as he began to feel a little braver, another message popped up on his phone, snapping him back to reality. "Mia wants to know more about you. Can you send a picture?" Jake felt his heartbeat quicken, doubt swirling back in violently. Would she even want to see his face? Would she know, just by looking at him, how uncertain he truly felt? The question loomed like a shadow. What if Mia saw him and wanted nothing to do with him? Jake stared at the message, his thumb hovering over the screen. A picture. Just a simple image of himself, yet the thought felt loaded with meaning. He could feel the weight of uncertainty wrapping around him like a thick fog. What would he even say if she responded? Would she smile, or would her small face twist in disappointment? "Hey," Jamie said, nudging him gently. "What is going on?" She wants a picture." "I don't know if I can do that." Jake's heart pounded in his chest. The idea of his daughter, his flesh and blood, looking at a photo of him made everything more real, exposed, raw. "Why not?" Jamie prompted, his eyebrows raised. "What's the worst that could happen?" "The worst?" Jake echoed, bringing a wary hand to his forehead. "She could see me and think, who is this guy? Why is he even here? I mean, I'm a stranger. A total stranger. You're not just some guy to her. You're her dad," Jamie said firmly. "You're her blood. That means something. Trust that it means something to her." Jake swallowed hard. "Yeah, but what if it's not enough? What if I don't look like a dad to her?" Jamie shook his head. "Just be honest. Take a good one. Show her the real you." Against his better judgment, Jake took a moment to compose himself. It felt surreal, a man who was all too familiar with guilt, now trying to approach this moment with something resembling confidence. He checked the mirror one last time, brushing his hair back. Okay, here goes nothing. He snapped a quick selfie, the sunlight catching his features just right. It wasn't the best shot, but it was real unfiltered. Alright, he muttered to himself as he hit send. Now what? Almost instantly, Mia's name flashed back on the screen with a reply. Jake's heart raced. The moment he'd been preparing for was upon him. Wow, you look cool. Are you funny like in the movies? Laughter bubbled in Jake's chest. Funny? He whispered, bewildered. I'm more awkward than funny. Before he even had a chance to respond, a new wave of messages came in. Can I ask you something? My friend has a dad who goes to her soccer games. Do you think you could come to mine? The question hit him like a freight train. A soccer game? He knew nothing about sports, let alone soccer. But the thought of disappointing Mia was heavier than the anxiety he felt. Oh God! What am I getting myself into? Hey, you alright? Jamie asked, studying Jake. I can't say no. I have to show up. I need to. Then you'll learn as you go, Jamie offered with a reassuring smile. It's part of being a dad. Part of being a dad, the phrase echoed in Jake's mind, filling him with a mixture of excitement and palpable fear. In that moment, he felt like he was teetering on the edge of something monumental, as if the ground beneath him could cave or lift him into the air. He quickly typed back, typing and erasing words, trying to convey his feelings without saying too much. I would love to come to your game. Can you tell me about it? His fingers were trembling, but the moment he hit send, something inside him relaxed just the slightest bit. Mia had seen him. She knew he existed. A connection flickered in his heart, and he could almost feel a tether pulling him to this child he had missed so much. The seconds felt endless, the anticipation gnawing at him until his phone pinged again. It's this Saturday. I'll show you how to kick the ball and everything. Her playful enthusiasm shot a spark of hope through Jake. Okay, I promise to be there. I might even practice a little. Before he could second-guess himself, Jamie clapped him on the back. See? You're in it now. But as joy washed over him, so did the weight of trepidation. It was one thing to type words on a screen, another to face her in person. What if she's disappointed when she meets me? He murmured, his smile fading. Then it's a chance to show her who you really are, Jamie replied, his words echoing with conviction. Just be you, flaws and all. Jake breathed deeply, needing to ground himself in the moment. Yes, he could mess up, and yes, he felt lost. But for Mia, he had to try. As they stood, ready to leave the park, Jake's phone buzzed again. He glanced at it and saw a heart emoji followed by a simple, I can't wait to meet you. His heart fluttered, but a new wave of uncertainty crashed back over him. This moment felt stitched from hope and fear. Could he really step into this role? With anxiety threading through him, he turned to Jamie, a question forming on his lips. What if I make everything worse? As Jamie prepared an answer, Jake couldn't shake the feeling that things were accelerating. This journey with Mia was about to unfold. He could feel the inevitable confrontation of truth and complication ahead. He just hoped he could weather the storm about to come his way. Saturday arrived faster than Jake expected. The morning sun streamed through his apartment windows, illuminating the room in a golden haze. He squinted against the light, feeling the excitement and anxiety churn in his stomach like a tight knot. Today was the day he would see Mia, the daughter he'd only just begun to know through messages and photographs. Are you sure you're ready for this? Jamie's voice pulled Jake out of his thoughts. He looked over at his friend, who was perched on the couch, a bowl of cereal in hand. You've been pacing for an hour. I don't know, man. Jake ran a hand through his hair, feeling just a bit bewildered. What do I even wear? Is there a dad dress code for soccer games? Jamie chuckled, his eyes bright with amusement. Go with whatever feels you. Just be yourself. She's not looking for a perfect dad, just you. A deep breath filled Jake's lungs, the weight of Jamie's words resonating inside him. He settled on a simple t-shirt and jeans, comfortable yet presentable. But as he stood in front of the mirror, he still hardly recognized the man looking back. Time to go, or you'll be late, Jamie chimed in, checking his watch. The drive to the soccer field was a blend of serenity and turmoil. The roads blurred past, and Jake's mind raced through every possible scenario. What if she couldn't see him as her dad? What if he fumbled over his words or worst of all made her cry? Arriving at the park, he parked and stepped out. The sound of laughter and the whoosh of soccer balls being kicked filled the air. The excitement was palpable, children dashing about under the watchful eyes of parents dotting the sidelines. Jake spotted a group of parents and tried to gauge the atmosphere. They were chatting, laughing, and seemingly so comfortable. What are you doing? He muttered to himself, a mix of awe and dread washing over him. Feeling suddenly overwhelmed, he fished his phone out of his pocket. He had to text her. I'm here. Where are you? Almost immediately, her response pinged back. I'm warming up. Look for the girl in the pink jersey. His heartbeat quickened as he scanned the field. A sea of colors danced before his eyes, but then he saw her. Mia. She was smiling, bouncing the soccer ball effortlessly between her small feet. Under that pink jersey, he caught a glimpse of the girl who had started to fill a void he thought would never close. Jake's heart felt like it might burst. He raised an unsteady hand, trying to summon enough courage to step forward. But just as he took a single step, an older man approached Mia, ruffling her hair before bending down to whisper something that made her laugh. Jealousy surged through Jake, foreign and unexpected. Was this man a better dad? What if Mia liked him more? Doubt crept in, clawing at the resolve he had mustered. Jake, come on. Jamie's encouragement broke through the haze. You got this. With a shaky breath, he willed himself to move. As he got closer, Mia looked up, her face lighting up when she spotted him. Daddy! She called out, her small voice ringing with delight. In an instant, the fears tumbled like leaves before a swift wind. She dashed toward him, arms outstretched. Jake crouched down, wrapping her in a hug that felt like coming home. Wow, you came! Mia exclaimed, looking at him with those wide, innocent eyes. Of course. I wouldn't miss it for the world, he said, fighting back emotions that threatened to spill over. As they broke apart, Mia bent slightly, demonstrating how to kick a soccer ball. Still caught in the glow of their connection, Jake couldn't help but chuckle. Let's see if I can keep up. But just as he attempted to join in the warm banter, an unsettling thought crossed his mind. What if today was more than just a game? What if the complexities of a father-daughter relationship unfolded right there in the open air, exposing truths he was ready to face? A trio of boys raced past, and for a fleeting moment, as Mia laughed and chased after them, Jake felt the weight of parental responsibility sink deep into his bones. He wanted to be there, to be a real dad for her. But what did that mean? As this new wave of uncertainty washed over him, he noticed a figure watching him from the other side of the field, a woman, her gaze fixed on him with intensity. The knot in his stomach tightened once more. Who was she, and why did it feel like she knew things he did not? With Mia calling him, the beautiful chaos of the soccer game swirling around them, Jake stepped forward into this new chapter of his life. But he couldn't shake the feeling that revelations were lurking just beneath the surface, waiting to rise and challenge him. What was this game really about? Jake tried to shake off the feeling of unease as Mia ran off to join her teammates. The sound of laughter and shouts filled the air, the joy around him was infectious. Yet his eyes kept drifting back to the woman on the other side of the field. She stood apart from the other parents, her gaze sharp and appraising, as if she were evaluating him. Focus, Jake," he whispered to himself, forcing a grin as he watched Mia move. She was a natural, darting here and there, her enthusiasm leaving him breathless. But just when he felt ready to immerse himself in the moment, the woman caught his gaze and held it, a knowing expression on her face that sent a shiver down his spine. "Hey! Come play!" Mia's voice broke through his thoughts. She was waving him over, a big smile plastered on her face, and for a moment, all his worries dimmed in her light. "Sure. Just a sec." He called back, giving her a thumbs up. But once more, he hesitated, battling the unexpected sensation that there was an undertow to this day. As he walked toward Mia and her group of friends, his excitement mingled with dread. "Mia, you're incredible." He praised as he jogged up, dropping to his knees so he was eye level with her. "Did you see that goal I made?" She beamed, bouncing on the balls of her feet. "That was amazing. I bet you could teach me a thing or two." The laughter of the other kids filled the space, and soon they were all kicking the ball back and forth. For a moment, Jake felt like just a regular dad, lost in the joy of the game. But then, the nagging feeling returned, and every time he glanced over at the woman, she appeared to be closer. "Daddy! Watch me!" Mia shouted, darting away to receive a pass. Jake clapped and cheered, but his heart wasn't in it. In his peripheral vision, the woman was closing the distance, and he could almost feel her eyes on him, speculating, probing. As Mia scored yet another goal, her teammates cheered, and she turned to Jake, laughter bubbling from her lips. "Did you see that? I'm the best." "You are. My little superstar." He cheered back, forcing a smile that felt more like a mask. But in the back of his mind, a question lingered: why was this woman watching him? His distraction almost made him miss the moment when she approached him. She was tall with dark hair, and the expressions flitting across her face were a mixture of concern and something else, something he couldn't quite place. "Jake," she said, her voice soft but firm. Do I know you?" he asked, trying to keep his tone casual, but the knot in his stomach tightened. She hesitated. "I'm Alexis. I think we need to talk." "What about?" he said, puzzled. The laughter of Mia echoed in the background, but it felt distant now, like a dream fading into reality. "It's about Mia." His heart raced. "What about her?" Alexis glanced at the kids playing, then back at him. "It's complicated." Before Jake could press for more details, the whistle blew, and the coach called for a water break. Mia sprinted over, her cheeks flushed, and her smile radiant. "Look, Daddy. I scored. I saw. You're amazing." But his attention was half on Mia and half on Alexis, who still lingered nearby, her expression a mix of urgency and concern. As the children gathered, Jake squatted beside Mia, trying to appear engaged, but the world around him blurred in a fog of anxiety. What did this woman want? Why did she need to talk about Mia? "Are you going to play more?" Mia asked, pulling him from his thoughts. "Absolutely. Just wanted to see how amazing you are first," he replied, forcing enthusiasm into his tone. Alexis cleared her throat, clearly waiting for a more opportune moment to speak. The buzz of children's laughter surrounded them, but all he wanted was clarity. As the kids prepared to resume their game, Jake felt a swell of panic rise within him. What could be so complicated about his daughter? The next whistle sounded, and Mia dashed back onto the field. Jake watched her, heart racing, knowing whatever Alexis had to say could change everything. The game was about to get much more intense than soccer. What truth waited just beneath the surface? Jake's heartbeat thrummed in his ears, drowning out the joyful shouts of the kids and the sound of the whistle. He felt like he was watching a show from behind a glass wall. Everything was happening, yet he was stuck outside, unable to break in. The laughter, the cheers, the little feet dancing across the grass, all of it felt muted, overshadowed by the weight of Alexis's words. "Mia!" he shouted, forcing a smile as she spun around, her ponytail whipping behind her. "You're doing so great. Keep it up." She nodded, green eyes twinkling with excitement, and jogged back to her position. Jake's gaze drifted toward Alexis, who was still watching him. There was something in her expression that made his skin crawl, concern mixed with something else, like she had a secret that could unravel everything. "Jake, we really need to talk." Alexis's voice disrupted his thoughts, firm but low, almost conspiratorial. The kids resumed their game, scattering around to chase the ball, but Jake felt paralyzed. "Can't it wait?" he whispered, his eyes flitting between Mia and Alexis. "She's playing." "No. This can't wait." Alexis took a step closer, her tone urgent yet cautious. "There's a lot you don't know. About Mia, about her safety." Jake's stomach dropped. "What do you mean? Is she in trouble?" Alexis shook her head, but her expression contradicted her words. "No, but there are things you need to understand. Things you won't see unless you're looking for them," she said, her voice steadying. "I don't want to alarm you, but I believe she deserves to know the truth." As the ball flew in Mia's direction again, Jake's focus wavered. Mia was darting to intercept it, her face alight with determination. He wanted to be present, he needed to be present. "This can't be happening," he murmured under his breath. "Jake." Alexis's voice cut through his thoughts. "Please. I know this is a lot, but I've been watching for weeks. There is something you have to understand about Mia." "What? Just tell me." His voice raised, drawing a few curious glances from nearby parents. "Don't make me feel more anxious than I already am." Alexis shifted, her gaze darting toward the kids before landing back on Jake. "Mia isn't just a gifted athlete. There are more layers to her than you see. I can't explain it all right now, but she's in the middle of something that goes beyond soccer. I've seen signs." "Signs of what?" "Lex, you're scaring me," he said, a tremor creeping into his voice. Panic clawed at the edges of his mind, threatening to overwhelm him. "That's what I'm trying to clarify," Alexis continued, her tone a mix of urgency and compassion. "Mia has skills that can put her in danger. If someone finds out, Mia's just a kid," he exclaimed, desperately wanting to dismiss her words as paranoia. But deep down, he sensed that the woman standing before him held a truth too important to ignore. "Exactly," Alexis pressed, her expression turning serious. "We can't let her play this game without knowing what's at stake. You think she's just a bright spark on the field, but there's much more going on." As Mia celebrated another goal, her laughter echoed in Jake's ears, both beautiful and haunting. He pulled in a shaky breath, feeling the frustration of his protective instincts clash against the strange revelation. "Okay, tell me what you know," he said sharply, determination firming in his chest, even as uncertainty lingered. "I promise I will," Alexis nodded, her lips drawing tight. "Just, not here. Somewhere private." A sudden burst of energy rippled through the children on the field, the world swirling back to life, but Jake could barely feel it. His heart was still racing as he thought about Mia. What had he missed? What dangers could be looming? And all at once, Jake was struck with the realization that sometimes the truth hides behind smiles, laughter, and joy. "Okay," he finally said, glancing towards Mia, who was caught up in her happy bliss. "Meet me after the game." As he watched her, the tension within him fought against the tide of fear. What was he stepping into? Would the truth be worth unraveling his world? He didn't know, but a growing urge to protect his daughter burned fiercely within him. He would find out. Overwhelmed by dread yet determined, Jake cast one last glance at Alexis as she stood waiting, knowing deep inside that this was only the beginning of something much darker. What hidden layers lay beneath the surface of Mia's new world? The game ended, and the laughter faded as children began to scatter, clutching water bottles and their parents in search of shade beneath the sweltering sun. Jake felt like the world had shifted under him, the joys of soccer replaced by a weighty concern that hung heavy in the air. Mia, still buzzing from her win, dashed over to Jake with excitement radiating off her like sunshine. "Did you see me score? I'm the best, right?" He knelt to her level, taking in her bright eyes and infectious smile. "You were incredible, Mia." But before he could finish, Jake's gaze flickered over to Alexis, who stayed near the park's edge, watching him silently. A rush of dread coursed through him. "Hey, kiddo, let us grab a snack. I need to talk to someone for a minute, okay?" Mia nodded, oblivious to the turmoil within him. "Okay. Can we go to the ice cream stand?" He managed a smile, but his heart raced. Of course, ice cream it is. As they made their way toward the bright and bustling ice cream stand, Jake couldn't shake the unease nagging at the back of his mind. He was trying to enjoy this moment with his daughter, but the conversation with Alexis loomed like an overgrown shadow. Mia's laughter filled the air as they ordered their cones, the joyful sweetness a momentary distraction. But when they found a patch of shade, Jake's mind raced, replaying every word Alexis had said. "Can I tell you a secret?" Mia asked, her voice low and conspiratorial, just like kids do when they think of something grand. "Sure, sweetheart. What's on your mind?" "Sometimes, I feel like things are bigger than they look. You know." Jake blinked, taken aback by her insight. "Bigger how?" "Like on the field or at school. Everyone thinks I'm just a kid, but I can do more. I want to find a way to help my friends, too, in ways they don't see." Stunned, Jake realized how much he had underestimated her. "Mia, you're already helping just by being you. You're kind and strong. That matters." Mia smiled at him, her eyes twinkling. "I want to be a superhero." He chuckled, warmth filling his chest. Yet, the irony of her words tugged at him how much he longed to protect her, to help her navigate a world he barely understood himself. Returning to their conversation, the heaviness fell back. After a few bites of ice cream, Jake felt the moment was right. "Hey Mia, I need to face something. Can you give me a minute?" "Okay," she said, her brows slightly furrowed. He breathed deeply, steeling himself before walking to where Alexis stood, watching the fading game. "Let us talk. Are you ready?" she asked softly, concern etched in her expression. He nodded, anticipation swirling in his gut. "Yeah, I need to know what's going on." Stepping aside, he gestured toward a bench. "Can we sit?" Alexis led him to a quiet corner of the park. "Okay, this is hard to explain but I promise you it's important. Mia isn't just a talented girl, she has been showing signs of advanced skills that are attracting attention from some unsavory people." "What do you mean?" Jake's voice grew tense, fear creeping into every word. "What kind of attention?" "Let's just say, her talents could make her a target. The kind of people who would exploit her abilities. She hasn't realized it yet, but we need to protect her." Jake felt the world tilting beneath him, his mind spinning. "But how? She's just a kid." "I know, but kids today experience things we can't even imagine. There are challenges that come with talent, dreams, and potential. You and I both know about facing demons. You need to keep her grounded. Talk to her, make sure she knows the dangers. The world out there can be cruel." The weight of her words felt like steel on his chest. "What kind of danger?" "Without going into details, Jake, all I'm saying is that she needs guidance, and she needs a real father figure in her life to help navigate these waters. You have to be there for her." He ran a hand through his hair, absorbing the gravity of her statements. "I want to protect her. I need to. Mia trusts you. But trust can break, Jake. Be careful how you navigate this." Jake nodded, fighting to keep the panic at bay. "What if I make things worse?" Alexis sighed, concern deepening in her gaze. You just need to be honest. Explain that while she has great gifts, those gifts come with risks. Teach her how to be strong. The weight of the world fell heavily on his shoulders, all the while the laughter of children echoed in the background, a cruel reminder of the joys he wanted to shield Mia from the dangers that lurked silently behind those moments of bliss. I will do everything I can, he said, resolve hardening in his chest. The thought of protecting Mia ignited a spark of determination. I promise. As he turned to walk back to Mia, he felt the truth of his journey settle deep within him. Yes, it was complicated, messy, filled with shades of gray. But for her, he would face whatever came next. By the time he reached Mia, he stood a little taller, resolve guiding his steps. She looked up at him, ice cream smeared on her cheek, and her innocent joy made his heart ache. Mia, he knelt beside her. I know we're building something together, but it's important for you to know that while you're amazing, we have to be careful. The world can be big and sometimes scary. Her eyes widened, curiosity sparking within them. I'm not scared, Daddy. I'm brave. He smiled, taking her small hands in his. Exactly. You're so brave, and bravery doesn't mean we don't feel afraid. It means being strong enough to face what's ahead. A soft breeze stirred between them, and he leaned in closer, ready to show her the kind of father he could be. He would guide her, nurture her gifts, and walk beside her through whatever darkness lay ahead. As they embraced, Jake finally understood, the journey wasn't just about Mia's hidden talents or the complexities they faced. It would be about forging a bond strong enough to weather any storm together. Ready for another round on the field? He asked, determination sparking once more in his chest. With a wide smile, Mia nodded enthusiastically, her laughter bubbling and filling his heart. Let us go. Together, they joined the mix of children, hands entwined, stepping into the bright, messy world ahead as a team. No matter the challenges waiting for them, he would help Mia embrace her journey. Together they could navigate the path toward the light of family, love, and forgiveness. This was their new beginning. So you need to subscribe now, so you don't miss out on these exclusive transformations. You want to feed that algorithm, so hit that like button right now. And tell me your thoughts about this heartfelt ending. I want to hear how this story made you feel. Don't wait not even 1 second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this story of hope and redemption. Your support makes all the difference.